The importance of an insert shot in your film composition can't be overestimated. It not only helps the audience focus on the precise detail that's essential to the emotional feeling of an action, but it also helps the editor quicken the pace of editing and orient ourselves to scenes that we might not be included in. So insert shots are not only the glue, but the intensifier for the rhythm of a movie and the way it's shot. Here we have a famous insert shot where Lana Turner steps on the brakes in The Bad and the Beautiful, a movie made in 1954, and she steps on it and she hurtles into a crash. That sequence, the cause and effect, the detail, the surprise, so essential. Insert shots are prominent in this type of makeup of a movie. When we do the insert shot, we usually do it at the end of all the other shots that we've already taken. The actors come in fresh. We want to capture them when they're fresh, when they're at their peak of energy. And at the end of the scene, when they've done their medium shots, long shots, reaction shots, close-ups, everything, when we've exhausted them with their array of talent in the scene, then we want to do the insert shot because they're not going to be prominently displayed. The object will be, so they can relax. And that's the time when we want to get the insert shot in, so they can go and refresh or take a break. If we do an insert shot here, say we have a watch or something, we don't usually need the lead actor to do that. We'll either have the prop person put the watch on themselves or find a stand-in who's the same skin color, ethnicity, sex of the person who's acting, and have them do the insert shot. So we'll have a prop assistant or somebody, and then we'll take the shot because it might take a while. There might be some lighting adjustments and everything. We might as well let the actors relax. So a lot of times in these real close insert shots, we don't need the lead actor. We don't need to waste their time. Here, let's look at how insert shots make the narrative as far as building suspense and surprise by taking a 1937 movie, Heidi, with Shirley Temple playing Heidi. In this movie, which is a classic, one of her more famous movies, she has been dumped on her unsuspecting grandfather, who didn't know that he had a granddaughter. So needless to say, he's not too thrilled, and so he slams a door in her face when she shows up, but she's plucky Shirley Temple. She follows him aside, determined to make friends with him. He picks up a large knife, and he finds it dull, and so he decides to sharpen it on the stone hearth. Heidi, reacting to her grandpa, touches her throat in worry, and Grandpa crosses to the other side of the room and then shuts the door, perhaps concealing some nefarious act, murder, who knows. He turns, the knife looking larger than ever, and continues to turn as the knife points directly at us, and Heidi closes her eyes in anticipation of what can only be a beheading. When she opens her eyes, Grandpa is only cutting bread. So the relief is almost comic, the discrepancy between the anticipated horror and the benign result is comic, but it's also a wonderful use of a prop, setting up our expectations so that we can have an emotional reversal and a coming together between Heidi and her grandfather. To show another example of how insert shots are used, because I talked about comedy, and the comedy is based on discrepancy, incongruity, so that insert shots are wonderful for that because we'll see one object and we contrast it with another object. We'll expect one thing and then we'll go in a close-up on an insert shot of something that's the opposite of what we expected. It will be comedic. So to take a good example, this a couple stills from Hot Shots Part 2, a Jim Abrams spoof, with Charlie Sheen doing a spoof on action, thriller, Michael Bay, military kind of movie. And so one of the ways Abrams uses inserts to great effect is he has Charlie, he's wiping out the enemy. They're coming at him, thousands of them, all armed to the hilt, but he's got one gun and he's just mowing them down as if they were totally unable to get even close to him. And as he mows him down, the body count spools away on the lower left-hand side. It's almost like an odometer revved up. The body count he'll have the digital body count as he's destroying all these people, and it's very funny. Just that little insert accentuates the humor of the scene. Here we can have the suntan accentuation. It's another insert of a part of the dictator's body that we immediately react to. Just that little cutaway of the tan lines. Again, the discrepancy between the murdering mad dictator and his femme side. Charlie shooting with whatever he's got at hand to shoot with. He's not using an arrow. He's got a duck. You can see it's a prop duck, actually. But again, the discrepancy between their arrow and the duck, the prop there makes the whole scene hilarious. And more famous in this movie is the scene where the woman is so hot he can fry eggs and bacon on her torso there. So that's just the insert. Just the spatula, the egg, the bacon, the body, the discrepancy, but the image is very clear. A wonderful insert shot. Insert shots from all the movies we remember that are really good. Like here's Pulp Fiction, and this is insert shot of feet walking away, Uma Thurman walking away. Whether it's Kill Bill or any other movie, the way the feet are pictured on that insert shot can tell us whether she's calmly walking away, frenziedly coming towards us. Just cutting to the feet can tell you the emotional part of the scene that we don't need to check the face for. Here's a scene of Blade Runner, and it's a silhouette scene, and we've got two antagonists facing off. But the way the scene would work, since they're not going to be really emoting much, and we can't really see because of silhouette, we would go into the objects on that table, the gun, the screen, where they're placed. They will take the emotional impact. Like in any scene where we have, again, same movie, where the chess match is the source of confrontation. We don't need to see the actors, we just need to see the source of confrontation. We can cut to that, those chess pieces, and then back to the actors, and we can edit the scene any way we want. And as Blade Runner would show so many different ways, because it's a big production design masterpiece, just that and any other movie in that realm will cut to the weapon, because the weapon, if we do an insert, well, then we can cut to anything. We can cut to people running, people diving, people crumpling over. The expected result of a weapon and its aftermath makes the editing tighter, but also quickens the movie. And like we said earlier, if there's a point where the actor is in a scene and the dialogue is dropped or there's something that isn't meshing, we can always cut to what that actor is fiddling with, the shot glass, the cigarette, the paper, just remembering that the paper has to have something relevant to the story. So the prop master has to create the newspaper that will fit in with the story, and that's one of the jobs of the prop master. Here, if you are a prop person, you've got to remember when you're doing your insert shot and framing it, that if you do your shot like in Thunderball here with Sean Connery on the beach, remember that in the insert shot, you got to match it, which they didn't do in Thunderball. They continued the scene, but suddenly plants grew up out of nowhere. Obviously a studio shot versus a beach shot, and they didn't mix very well because they decided to do the insert shot later. Much better to do the insert shot while you're on set doing the scene. To do it a day later, you could make mistakes like this. And for our purposes, doing a horror movie, insert shots are incredibly important because we don't have the budget perhaps for the huge costume, or maybe we don't have the budget for the special effects, CGI, but we can just cut to the huge talons or the big foot of the monster, and that tells us everything. The discrepancy from the size of the foot and the surroundings will tell us all we need to know, and it's a simple insert shot. And the person setting up for these insert shots, of course, is the prop master. And here's a prop master setting up for the insert shots of the poker game that's going to be in the movie following. So now let's go and let's examine what the prop master does.